Savage.
Gagging.
Gagging.
Salvies, and I'm back for yet another video. I hope you guys are having a great time and welcome back to my channel, honey. To my new subscribers and my old subscribers, what do we think about this? You know, like, what do we think? Please tell me, what do we think about this combination? Because I'll be feeling it. I'll be feeling it just like that. Be feeling it. Anyway, so I got this. You guys were like, you have to check it out. You have to check it out. And I'm off today, so I was like, oh, you know what? Not a bad idea, is it? It is what it is, honey. So to my new subscribers, I'm old subscribers, let's check this.
So, we have finally encroached upon the giant India. So
okay.
A long time for this episode. I'm just gonna say straight up, you all know India is incredibly complex and diverse. Even Indians have trouble understanding their own country.
Boom. Okay guys, before this video starts, I want you guys to know that when I was born, I was actually raised in India for 5 years. My first 5 years on this earth was in India. So this would be interesting. So let me see.
Obviously, I won't be able to scratch even the surface in this episode, but I'll try my best. A lot of you Indian geography peeps have helped me along the way, so thank you. And without further ado, let's begin.
Let's see.
It's time to learn geography now! Hey everybody, I'm your host Barbie. This place doesn't even need much of an introduction. Everybody has heard of India.
Yes.
It's big, it's loud, it's colorful, and most importantly, it has a plethora of confusing territorial anomalies that I can't wait to cover. Here we go.
How will you cover India?
There's an old saying, India is a place where everyone is in a hurry, but no one is ever on time. First of all, India is located in South Asia, right on the Indian and Arabian Seas and the Bay of Bengal, bordered by 6 other countries, so close to 7, but that land bridge between Sri Lanka got wiped away like 600 years ago by a cyclone. India is divided into 29 states and 7 union territories, with the capital New Delhi, which acts as its own administrative unit, located in the capital territory. Keep in mind, New Delhi is actually just the name of one of the districts in the capital territory, made up of 11. The largest city, however, is actually Mumbai, with New Delhi, Bangalore, or Bengaluru, and Hyderabad following after.
Yeah, we lived in Bombay.
Business airports are Delhi Indira Gandhi International, Mumbai's Chhatrapati Shivaji International, Bengaluru's Kempe Gowda International, and Chennai.
Indian names are so sexy. Oh, the states especially. I'm like, oh, Mexico. Suvanamia. I'm like, I'm sorry, their names?
International in the South.
Indian names are hot.
This is my favorite part of any episode we ever make. Territorial anomaly time. India is loaded with strange borders and deliciously complex demarcation lines. First of all, what exactly is a union territory? In the simplest way I can put this, union territories are places that are too distinct to be incorporated into a state, but too small to have their own local governments. The first one, of course, is the Delhi National Capital Territory, where the capital lies. Chandigarh is a post-independent city constructed to replace Lahore as the capital of the Punjab area after it was split between India and Pakistan. Then you have the island territories, the smallest one, Lakshadweep, and the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. The Andaman Islands being home to one of the last uncontacted people groups on the planet, the Sentinelese tribe, whom have been hostile to visitors and are therefore left alone, as well as the Nicobar Islands, which actually used to be a short-lived colony of Denmark. Finally, the 3 remaining territories are former European colony towns and ports. Dadra and Nagar Haveli, Daman and Diu, which are separated by about 200 kilometers across the Gulf of Khambat, and the most confusing union territory, the French that goes into this is crazy. Which is actually split up between 4 district cities across India: Karikal, Mahe, Yannaon, and Pondicherry. Pondicherry is strange because it has 11 enclaves within the Tamil Nadu state. And in this area, you can also find the experimental hippie-ish commune with a little bit of controversy. Look it up. And don't forget, here, the eastern states, also known as the 7 Sisters, are connected by this incredibly narrow 27-kilometer wide pathway known as the Siliguri Corridor. This pathway is like a crucial artery that completes the India puzzle, or so you would think. Now let's discuss the juicy stuff. Now, in the China episode, I already talked about the disputed areas with India, such as Aksai Chin and Arunachal Pradesh. The latter pretty much just belonging to India, as it's almost completely inhabited and operated by Indians. So let's move to the other disputes. Now, as of 2015, the Bangladesh episode is already out.
Am I the one, or does that in the flag, the map looks almost like that of Africa, the map, yeah, the shape. Oh.
India and Bangladesh have finally come to an agreement over the frighteningly complex former enclave-exclave dispute. In the end, India only lost about 40 square kilometers of land to Bangladesh, and now only a few enclaves and exclaves exist. Now let's head north. Now, when you try to draw the shape of India, you might want to be careful which depiction you use. Some might use this picture, some might use this, some might use this, and those that don't really study very well might use this. The point is, the whole area is like the most heavily militarized, diplomatically stressed out region on the planet. It's already had like 4 wars in the past half century. Basically, India, Pakistan, and to some extent China all want the entire area for themselves, although it's more of like a Pakistan-India thing.
So why don't they just share it equally?
The Chinese disputes with India, so I won't cover those in this episode. If you want to learn more, just watch the China episode. But anyway, this entire area was a former domain known as the princely state of Jammu and Kashmir that was under royal Maharaja rulers all the way up until independence. Currently, this place is split up by this fenced-off militarized line known as the line of control between India and Pakistan. Why is this? Well, in the quickest way I can put this,
okay, the British are out. We get to take your land.
No, we want to be an independent princely state.
We're supposed to take your land, and majority of your people are Muslim, just like us, even though your ruler is Hindu as well.
Hey, India? Yeah. If you help me, I'll let you secede my territory to your land with autonomy. Deal. Ha! Your problem now! I love how Mike played India. He totally represents India. Oh, keep in mind, Pakistan's capital, Islamabad, is 80 kilometers away from all that drama. The line of control meanders through the mountains until it stops at a point called NJ9842. This is where things get really crazy.
NJ, that's New Jersey or what?
Glacier, the second longest non-polar glacier in the world.
I'm so ignorant with the NJ.
After point NJ9842, you get the actual ground position line, a series of military outposts that extend all the way to the Chinese border. That means everything in this area is ground zero for the Indo-Pak tension.
Oh,
you know,
I don't want to be part of that.
Literally small towns of normal, regular civilians living in these areas high up in the mountains. Many of which just go about daily life, going to work and raising their families. Otherwise, they have a river dispute with Nepal and various river islands disputed with Bangladesh. Outside of all the dispute stuff, though, India not only has the world's second largest road network and 3 of the world's top 10 megacities and their own space program. They also have a copious abundance of landmarks and notable sites, way too many to list, but some of the ones that you guys, Indian geography peeps, have told me to mention.
Not surprised, they have one of the most populated
Ghost City, Golconda Fort,
countries.
the 4 pillars of Charminar, the Ajanta Buddhist art caves, the Ellora monolithic ruins, Mandu Fortress, the Golden Temple, which fits over 100,000 people a day, the Gumbaz Mausoleum, the Kalavantin Durg Post, the ruins of Hampi, the hill forts of Rajasthan, Shatrunjaya Hill, which is basically like a Mecca for Jains, the Temple of the Bodhi Tree, Jal Mahal, Bangar Fort, the most haunted place in India, Mahabat Maqbara.
Okay. This is giving me word porn. I love dictions, I love words. So this is giving me porn of words. Like, names.
And keep in mind, just like in China, you can find a Great Wall of India in Rajsamand.
They have
also the Paritala Anjaneya Temple with the largest statue in India depicting Hanuman, and at over 150 acres, the Sri Rangan Attaswamy Temple, the largest Hindu temple in the world. Oh yeah, and there's also that building.
I may have to go and visit
anyway, we can go on
again
for centuries talking about India's rich constructed domicile, but what it lies on top of is even more fascinating. Now, don't make this mistake.
Okay.
I'm going to India. All I need are my sandals and sunscreen.
Now, as the 7th largest country in the land, India has
now that's the place I would like to visit, the cold place.
That all contrast from one corner to the other.
I love cold.
First of all, let's talk about the north. India sits on the Indian tectonic plate that essentially smashed into the Eurasian plate, which in return created the largest mountain range in the world, the Himalayas. The force is so strong that it's estimated that the Himalayas grow about 2.4 inches or 6.1 centimeters every year. There's also where you can find Kanchenjunga, the tallest mountain
it keeps growing
in the world, right on the border.
So it's ever changing.
Keep your eye on these mountains. These are pretty much the source of most of India's major rivers that give life to the whole country. That's why India takes these mountains so seriously. You can also find the largest natural lake, Wular, up in the Jammu Kashmir area. Below the Himalayas, you reach the North Indian River Plains, sometimes referred to as the Indus Ganga. This is the most fertile part of India, where the most important rivers like the Ganges and its tributaries flow. Heading a little south, you reach the Satpura and Vindhya ranges that pretty much divide North India.
It is what it is.
On each side, you get the West and East Ghat Mountains, which in return creates this massive triangle thing called the Deccan Plateau. This place is moderately forest, especially in the east, in the Chotra Nagpur Plateau, where you get a section of the swampy Sundarbans that they share with Bangladesh. Check out the Bangladesh episode.
He's
and a little west,
playing with them names, guys.
Desert along the border with.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait. First of all, you're not gonna speed past that like you didn't just say what you just said.
Pakistan, as well as the Rann of Kutch, known as the Salt Desert. And finally, the only active volcanic area would be the Andaman and Nicobar Islands, with Barren Island having actual conical eruptions and Bhutan having tame mud volcanoes. Now here's the thing, although India has a relatively high population density, they do relatively well with maintaining their ecological footing. In fact, in 2016, they beat a world record by planting, disputably, 50 million trees in one day. They've also agreed to reforest about 12%
I knew
of the
that
country by 2030. The most heavily forested area being the 7 sister states in East India. Now, one of the factors that contributes to this would be the fact that India has the lowest meat consumption in the world with the highest population percentage of vegetarians at around 40%.
Yes, because I remember growing up, mom always told me that my biological father, they had to move all the time because they ate meat, so their landlord is like, bitch, you're out of here. Bitch, you're out of here. And whenever she tells me, I'm like, oh, but deep down, I'm like, yeah, why would you even? Because you have a child that is not a fan of those and you guys are eating it. Like, hello. So I grew up with my animals, and when my biological father kills them, you see me crying my eyes out. So I'm not surprised because, you know, especially with religion and culture, so I get it and I'm here for it. Like, you better leave the animals alone.
Vegetarians that consume milk products. By the way, in India, when buying groceries, this label means vegetarian and this one means not vegetarian. Nonetheless, the remainder of the population does typically eat some kind of animal protein, mostly in the forms of seafood or chicken, but almost never beef or pork unless if you are part of the Muslim or Christian minorities scattered throughout the West and East areas. Now, let's talk about the role of cattle, shall we? India has more cattle and livestock than anywhere else in the world at around 330 million. And it's interesting because since they have prevalent Hindu traditions, the killing of cows is illegal in many of the states except for a few, and each state has varying degrees of punishment for
yes, I'm vegan, so of course I'm like,
cows accidentally hit by cars all the time. Once a cow is too old to produce milk, it typically is released into the open to die naturally in the wild, ideally. Nonetheless, male cattle get it much worse as they are deemed as kind of useless. Some places use them as draft animals for labor, some religious sects use them as sacrifices, but otherwise they are typically sold to the underground market for beef or hides. To this day, there are about 6 times as many female cows as male cattle in India, so that means, yeah, something's happening to the males. Nonetheless, India does have the 3rd highest carbon emission rate after China and the US, 4th if you consider the EU. However, emission per capita, they rank pretty low at only about 2 kilotons per person. Contrast that with Qatar at about 40. There are 94 national parks, 501 animal sanctuaries across the country where you can find some of the national animals like the peacock, the Ganges River dolphin, king cobra, the Indian elephant, and the highest population of Bengal tigers in the world, which are all highly protected. India also has the most irrigated land in the world, which allows them to become the #1 producer of multiple products like millet, bananas, lemons, limes, mangoes, ginger, chickpeas, milk, jute, and about 75% of the world's spices.
I ate that growing up, Mom.
Speaking of which,
thank you, Mom.
Typically, you can find the staples roti, chapati, naan in the north, idli,
chapati, my favorite.
Everybody eats rice. More commonly commercialized Indian foods that